235 of the All the Book Show, recorded at the David A. Howe Public Library, where we talk book news, author news, and literary news. I'm Eric Mickles.
I'm Nick Gunning.
Yeah.
How you doing, bud?
Good.
We both kind of wore matching outfits today.
I don't. Yeah.
I got a black T-shirt on.
Mhm.
I got gray pants. I got black
Right.
shoes. I got
Right.
the red.
Right.
We are very closely matching
But
today.
we're going to see Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie,
Yes.
after this.
Yes.
So we won't, because I'm wearing a Super Nintendo T-shirt.
I am wearing a Sega Genesis
Yeah.
T-shirt.
I'm letting people know where I stood in the
as is our
90s.
way. With Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Was that the right side to be on in the 90s? I don't
It
think
was
so.
a pretty good side
Was
to be
it?
on. Thank you. Yeah.
If you want to hear more about this debate, go back to episode 168, SNES versus Genesis.
Yep. Yeah, you know what? A retcon on that episode. You asked me if Genesis won in sales and stuff, and I said no, because Super Nintendo had sold more. But Super Nintendo had won. I mean, Nintendo had the lead.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I looked, Super Nintendo came out first.
Ah.
And Genesis basically evened it out. So
Yeah.
considering the lead Nintendo had in just the market,
Right.
the fact that Genesis was even,
Neck and neck.
it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. Genesis was where it was at.
Incorrect. You guys didn't have Super Metroid.
That's true, but
Yeah.
you didn't have Sonic or Knuckles or Tails.
That's true. This isn't a Sonic the Hedgehog spotlight.
I wish it was. No, it's not. In fact, we're going to be talking about one Jack London today. Eric and I,
If he was to write Call of the Wild or White Fang today, it would be about Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's a fair point.
Sonic is the one in White Fang,
Yes,
and Knuckles is Call of the Wild.
that makes perfect sense. So, back in
Screw
episode
Shadow.
43, if you can believe this, 43 from June of 2016, Eric and I had swapped books. And we read each other's books, and then Eric was like, oh, you got to read White Fang. And I was like, okay. And so we said in a month's time, we're going to talk about White Fang. That was, I kid you not, almost 4 years ago.
Yeah, that
But-
segment fell apart.
But here we
Before our
are,
eyes, yeah.
nearly 200 episodes later, getting
Yeah.
ready to talk about all things Jack London, including
Mhm.
White Fang, which I have read.
Yeah, we've done it once successfully, right?
The original plan was, that we would swap a few
I read
times.
your Steve Martin book, and
Yeah,
you read
you
Starship Troopers.
You read Pleasure My Company. I read that, and then we were going to
Do it again.
alternate. Yeah,
Yeah.
you were going to read Domestic Violence by Matthew Norman,
Yeah.
which I still love, one of my favorite books.
Mhm.
And I was going to read White Fang, and here we are. So we are.
You've been holding on to my copy of White Fang Call
for
of the Wild
4 years.
For 4 years.
For 4 years,
Yeah, I've
I
known
know.
exactly where it is this entire time. Don't
You
worry
could have
about
taken it at any time.
Yeah, that's true.
Now you can have it back.
Thank you.
I want you to have it.
I want to take it
Just
back.
take it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, before we start talking about Jack London,
Uh-huh.
let's get into some bookmarks.
Are you going to be nice this bookmark?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're not.
Sometimes I'm grumpy.
Sometimes I talk about what I've read, and you're like, oh my gosh, can we move it along?
Am I really like that?
Sometimes.
Oh, I guess
Yeah.
I thought I hid that
You're like
better.
Sonic the Hedgehog when I put the controller down for too long.
Mhm.
Starts tapping his foot, shaking his finger.
Cross his arms and
Yeah.
tap, tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had such an attitude.
That's me?
Yeah, when
So-
I'm doing my bookmark.
So your insult to me is that I'm like Sonic the Hedgehog at the height of his popularity.
Oh, my
Is that what
word.
you're saying?
Hey, I got to take this call.
Is that true?
Yes, it is. So,
All right, I'll be patient.
all right.
I'll be patient.
Like
and,
Tails.
Yeah, like Tails. I loved how in 2-player with Tails, he could do anything and he'd just come back.
You're right.
Very powerful.
Okay.
Very powerful Tails.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me tell you some of the things that I've been reading.
Oh, okay. So
ready?
you're starting. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
okay. I finished
Hit
some
it.
stuff. I finished some stuff that you might have some feelings about.
Okay,
so
hit it.
Let's see. Well, I read Woods Runner by Gary Paulson.
I have zero feelings about this, but continue.
Are you going to read it?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
to.
Yeah, I know. We're doing this for a
I'm
book club
legally required.
as part of our Revisiting the Founding Era grant. This is a book club Eric's doing with what grade? 7th and 8th?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct.
So, well, I guess if you haven't read it, I won't really get into it. We can talk more about it when we talk about Gary Paulson in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So, Gary Paulson's The Wood Runner. I will say I like the little historical facts that bookended each section.
Uh-huh.
I like that.
Okay.
Okay. I read Rockin' and Groot, Keep on Truckin' by Tom Engelberger.
Yeah.
So this is like a junior level
Nick
book.
is a single man with no children.
Right, yeah, I just read this on my own. No, I've been reading this to my son. This is the second book in this series, and it's pretty fun. It's all it's just all dialogue. It's basically like a script,
Right.
but they do a lot of interesting things with, like, when there's a like a sentient tape dispenser who's a character, and so whenever she talks, it looks a certain way. Whenever Rocket talks, it's a certain way, and so it's illustrated, but it's also just sort of a novel. But
Fun.
yeah. Yeah, a lot of cross appeal. I think this would appeal to many different ages. My son is 5, and he loved it. So they're fun books to
And
read.
you're 47. You
yeah.
couldn't handle it.
Yeah,
it was just so funny.
Well, I'm 49. I'm just about turning 50. So that was pretty decent. I
Did
read.
you say you're 39?
No, I'm 37.
Oh my gosh, I was
Yeah.
so scared.
I said 49.
I know,
was just
but then I was like, maybe he meant 39.
no, I'm 37.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all right.
How old are you?
33.
33.
A
Gonna
young
be 34.
30.
Gonna be 34.
I'm 33
Pretty
years
soon.
young.
Man, I'm trying to think. I looked so much better than you when I was 33.
Excuse you?
Yeah.
Really?
I just really had
I'm
it.
pretty sure you were in a gurney
Well, maybe.
being
But-
wheeled out of the
but-
hospital
but-
in a revolving door.
All right, I read Detective Comics League of Shadows. This
Yeah,
is part
is
of
this
the Rebirth
Rebirth?
run. It is. It's
Is this the
Rebirth.
one that was originally Batman and or like Rise of the Batman or something?
That's the first volume of the
Okay.
series. Yep.
I was trying to figure out which series this
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. So this one was decent. It was like
Who's that on the cover with no
The-
mouth in the mask?
Cassandra Cain.
She's back!
Yeah, as Orphan is her new name. Cassandra Cain, who a version of her appeared in
Birds of Prey,
Birds
kind
of
of.
Prey, as we discussed last week, but this was not that version. This was decent. This was decent. Good, not great. And finally, I read The One and Only Ivan by Catherine Applegate. This is the first of her non-picture books that I've read.
Ah,
So I liked it. I thought it was really good.
so sad.
I know it was sad, but also sort of hopeful.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
But it's also like one of the saddest books I've read in a long
Right,
time. Like
right.
I remember when you all were reading like The Wild Robot,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh, it's so sad." And I read it, I'm like, "Is it?"
Yeah.
And then I read this, and I'm like, "Oh my god!"
I know. I remember.
I can't move.
I remember.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, this was good stuff.
So sad.
I'm also gonna because we're gonna be doing a
Sequel's
Catherine,
coming out
Yeah,
this year.
Yeah.
One and Only Bob.
in May, I think it
Yep.
is. We're gonna be doing a Catherine Applegate spotlight sometime in the coming
Yeah.
months, and so I'm boning up a little bit. I have the first Animorphs checked out. Now that I finished Rocket and Groot, I'm gonna read it to my son.
Man, I've got the entire series at home.
Oh, I want the stats, baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do. I've got all the main books. I've got all the Megamorphs. I've got all the Chronicles.
Is this for the listeners?
And I've got the Alternative Morphs.
Am
the
I
two-
supposed to be surprised that you have all these?
But I still have the Alternative Morphs.
yeah, a
But-
lot of
but
those.
choose your
A
own
lot of
adventure.
those were ghostwritten. I hate to break your heart.
Yeah. She wrote them with her husband.
Oh, that's cute.
I guess.
Jack London,
No,
Oh.
what's his name? He writes the Gone series.
James Grappando.
No, the Gone series for the kids,
I don't know.
for teens.
How would I
Michael
know?
Grant.
Okay. All right, Michael Grant.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so we're going to be doing that down the road here. I am currently reading the novelization of Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, I just don't understand what you're doing as a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Why are you reading the novelizations to the movies you don't like?
Well, I wouldn't say that I don't like Revenge of the Sith, but
You don't like any of the prequels.
That's true. That's true.
All right,
If
but
I was going to
anyways.
watch one, it would be Revenge
Right.
of the Sith. But no, I've heard such good things about this novelization,
Here
and
it
it's part of
comes.
sort of a loose trilogy.
Yeah.
of, you
Labyrinth
know-
of Evil is
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Then there's this, and then Lord of the Sith.
Yeah. So anyway, this is part of my my sci-fi book club where we do Star Trek and Star Wars alternating. And my brother Steven, who's been on the show many times, loves this book. It's like his favorite Star Wars book, and so it was his pick, and he picked it, and so we were all like, "Okay."
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. And I've got to say, it actually is pretty good so far.
All right.
It feels pretty legit. It's
All
giving
right.
good background. As long as I forget that Hayden Christensen is a thing, I think I can.
Matthew Stover
Get in with it.
is
Matthew
the author.
Stover's
I don't
the author,
recognize
yep.
that name.
He's written other Star Wars things,
Weird.
but I don't know. And then
Well,
I'm also
not nerds like you guys. I'm
Oh.
not a nerd
okay.
like you guys.
Okay. Okay.
I have all the Animorphs, actually. I had all
darn.
the Animorphs spin-offs.
I should have said the Animorph thing first.
You definitely shouldn't have said that thing about the Andalite Chronicles. Green Arrow, the last action hero, not the Schwarzenegger.
Right,
Not the
sure.
Schwarzenegger.
Oh, boy.
This is the
Well-
next in the Mike Grill
Right.
Green Arrow run, and I'm really liking that.
Uh-huh.
You can go back and listen to our Green Arrow episode wherever you get your podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
All the Books show. Don't forget that show. Good so far.
Yeah. Are you crying a lot while you read this?
No, I'm not crying.
Okay.
Why are you asking?
You just cry a lot when you read Green Arrow.
Do I?
Yeah, you talked about that during the Green Arrow spotlight.
I don't remember.
I'm like,
that.
so what else do you like reading Green Arrow? He's like, yeah, but I cry all the time while reading
Huh.
it.
Don't recall.
I was like, why? Are you like a baby or
I
something?
don't
And you're
remember
like, yeah,
saying
I'm
that.
like a big baby.
Can we pause a minute to talk about the Schwarzenegger film, The Last Action Hero? Because I've never seen it,
Oh.
and I would like to know what the premise is.
He's really? You
Yeah.
don't know what the premise of Last Action Hero is?
Is he like an actual movie character comes into the real world?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
the boy who likes these films,
Mhm.
he enters the movie
Boy.
world
Mhm.
where everything's ridiculous.
Oh, he's in the movie world.
And then at the third act, the bad guy and Schwarzenegger and the kid go into the real world.
okay.
But then at the end, you think Schwarzenegger's going to die because he's been shot. So they put him into the movie world again. And they're like, what? It's fine. It's just a flesh wound. It's just a scratch. He's like, oh. Apparently, it was underrated for its time. I saw it as a kid, and I didn't really get it.
Yeah.
I think if I watch it now, I'd find it funny.
You want to watch it?
All right.
Hey. All right.
Is that it for you?
That's it for me.
Well, that was a good transition because I watched Terminator Dark Fate
Oh.
over the weekend.
Terminator Dark Fart. What did you think? Did you like it?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think you would.
Listen,
I didn't think you would.
here's the thing. I
Yeah.
can objectively tell you that it is better than the past 3 sequels.
No way.
I can tell you it's better than Genesis, and it's better than the other one.
Look, it's
Salvation.
It's definitely better than Salvation. My only thing with Genesis is like at least they went for something different. Whether you like it or
I don't
not, it's
know
different.
anything about.
You think it's better than 3 though?
See, I'm not entirely sure about that.
No, it's not. Better.
The thing is, like, the action scenes are good. The acting is good. It's filmed well. So it's definitely like I'm watching it and like as a movie, I'm like, this feels harmless. As a Terminator film, it can go to hell. So it feels like I don't know who it's for because if it doesn't feel like it's for long-term Terminator fans because it says screw you to Terminator fans within the first 3 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
And then continues to do so
Yeah.
with the other things. And then if it's for new people,
This is like Glass all over again.
but if it's for new fans,
Yeah.
how many people are jumping on board as new fans on film 6?
No one.
Which is acting as a sequel directly to 2. I'm
Yeah.
so over this fad of making sequels
I agree.
that ignore the other sequels.
Yeah.
I mean, it sometimes works for certain movies and doesn't for
Like
others.
what?
I think the Halloween film was like a big hit when they
okay.
did that, but like I don't care about the Halloween movies.
Right.
But it's just I'm just so over this. Especially like if Terminator, you have time travel, you can just explain
Right.
that anyway. It's just very frustrating.
I didn't think you'd like it.
And the problem is like the way they defeat the Terminator, the evil Terminator in this movie is the same way they defeated the
I know.
Terminatrix in 3
I know.
with the power cells.
Yeah.
And then the whole
Spoiler alert.
I guess yeah, okay, they use a power cell at one, but they have like a human Terminator hybrid that's from Salvation.
Right. Yeah.
They're messing with like the original that's Genesis. It's just it's strange.
Yeah.
I almost feel like they brought back Sarah Connor, but like it's almost like an insulting way that her character is like presented. Like
Yeah.
people are like, well, you're not important. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just it's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. I'm
Right, yeah.
frustrated.
I'm with you. I don't care about the Terminator film,
Yes.
so it didn't really bother me that much.
Yeah.
But
I
I
mean-
didn't like it. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought there's nothing new here.
I guess if you're like how I am with the Alien films, where I've seen them all, but I don't care.
Yeah.
So when something bothers Alien fans, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Then I could see like Kendra, and I think
Your wife.
enjoyed
The Invisible Woman.
Dark Fate,
Mhm.
but she doesn't really care about the Terminator series
Yeah.
in general.
Mhm.
But like as somebody who's like Terminator 2 is like not just like a good Terminator film. It's one of the great movies of all time.
Okay.
And it's one of like the best sequels ever.
Mhm.
At the end, okay, I am going to spoil this. So if you don't want Terminator
Really?
Dark Fate
Wow, okay.
spoiled for you.
All right.
No, because here's the thing. The
Here it
last
goes.
shot,
Here comes the spoiler.
the very last shot of this film is just a car driving down suburbia.
Uh-huh.
Right? That's it. But they play the Terminator that you just did, that bum, bum, bum.
Dun, dun,
They
dun.
play it so loud. You take that music out, what is that last shot?
I don't know.
What is the emotion? It's one of those things
can't tell you.
where I learned from, what's his name? M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, yeah.
Where if a scene can't stand on its own without the music is a crutch.
Yeah.
And I just imagine that scene without the, and it's not even just like the Terminator theme, like on acoustic. It's just full, but it's just a car driving down suburbia.
Yeah.
What? It was supposed to be a trilogy? For
Is that
who?
true? Was it
Yes.
supposed to be a trilogy?
Yeah.
Oh.
Cameron was writing the script for it, and it's just like, what were they thinking?
Are we ever going to see those Avatar sequels?
It's coming out.
It really is?
Yeah. They've been filming it. But it's just,
That's crazy
It's
to
just-
me. That's
I don't know
crazy to me.
what, because because of how it works. Terminator 2, they're like, yeah, you did it. You stopped Skynet. But
Yeah.
now there's another program
Yeah.
with different Terminator. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, so now this is a Terminator film, but it has nothing to do with
Right.
anything.
Yeah.
It's like if
I don't.
the next X-Men movie
I can't help you.
was
I don't.
called X-Men, but then all original to the film characters.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, they're not mutants anymore.
Right.
They're robots.
Do you want to watch The Inhumans? No.
I guess that's it. It's like if they called the Inhumans X-Men.
Right.
It's frustrating because
you know what?
the people in it
It's
aren't
worth it for this segment
the
right
people
now.
in
because
the
I'm
movie
enjoying it.
aren't doing a bad job.
No.
And Tim Miller does like a fine job doing the scenes and everything. There's that kind of in Terminator 2, there's action scenes. Like I don't even know
It's like Pandora's box over here.
how
I did
many
not
action scenes
anticipate
do you
this.
remember from Dark Fate? I mean, there's that opening highway scene, which I guess is more like look
In
how
like
much
the
faster
in the factory.
right, the factory, which then becomes the highway chase.
Yeah.
And then there's the plane scene. But I just felt like
Right. Yes.
with the last battle is just a bunch of people standing
Yeah.
in that dam.
Yeah.
I guess that's it.
can't-
Like, all right, everybody just stand, and now we're just gonna.
I got
I'm just-
nothing to offer you.
At least like Terminator 3 had a pretty good car chase. Salvation had a
Terminator
pretty good car
3
chase.
has an amazing car chase.
I guess the one in this one, Dark Fate, was cool, like a cool car chase. But there's also this kind of like that's the thing. Terminator Genesis, the Terminator that was in there was also nanites kind of thing.
right.
So like seeing this, it's like this is the back of the box says the most dangerous Terminator yet.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this movie. I'm like, because he can make a second Terminator,
Right.
then that's it.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. I mean,
You're looking for me to defend
I
it,
don't
and
know
I'm
who's-
not going to.
it must be impossible to like after Terminator 2 and you have the T-1000. It's like, well, how do we make a more dangerous Terminator than just this liquid metal thing? And they've
Can't do it.
tried, but I don't think there has been a successful. I mean, Terminator Salvation just didn't have one.
Right.
It was just a whole bunch of robots.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. It makes me as mad as all the other sequels, but I don't want it to because the things there. And I don't buy the girl's. I don't know her name. The one who's supposed to be the new Sarah Connor.
Oh yeah.
I don't buy her arc at all.
I-
At the end when she's like, "We need to stand up," I'm like, "When did you start doing anything in this movie?" It just is a quick, sudden change. It made me so frustrated. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, Sarah Connor's there, and they're like, "Well, your future sounds stupid." When Mackenzie Davis is just like, "In the future that really happened," I'm like, "Shut up, shut your face right now."
Wow.
Ugh.
This was unexpected. I have to tell you, it's unexpected, but I'm delighted.
The
I enjoyed
the 0G plane fight
Yeah.
was cool.
Pretty cool.
That's a pretty cool
this.
concept.
Boss. Maybe
Yeah.
you'd say.
Was it Boss?
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
I thought because they parachute out in a
Yeah.
Humvee.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, they're gonna do like a big final
Yeah.
car chase. Because why else would you parachute a Humvee
Yeah.
out of this if you weren't gonna
No
have
reason.
a car chase in the Terminator series? But it's just
What I like is how harmless this movie is and how long ago it came out and how much passion.
the choice was between this and Gemini Man.
oh yeah.
But what really made me pick it was that you had seen it.
Yeah.
And no, I was not going to let you have seen more Terminator films than me.
I've also seen most of the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Most?
Yeah.
I've seen the pilot.
Mm,
You've
no.
seen most?
I think I maybe have. You know what? I've seen it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Listen, the only thing good to coming out of Dark Fate is the fan fiction I'm about to start writing.
I would love to.
I'm
read
gonna.
that.
I'm
I would
gonna.
love to
I've
read
come. I'm
that.
not gonna share it because it's a high concept.
I don't even.
Let me
think,
tell you.
I don't even think there's a place for me to say this anymore. But I watched the movie Underwater
Oh yeah.
over the weekend. Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
My wife and I went to see that on Valentine's
Did it
Day.
scare you?
It was very much like Cloverfield at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh.
Is what it was. Not what I was expecting.
Hey, T.J. Miller's in both of them.
I know. That's what I said. And one of the other guys was the guy who's in Cloverfield Lane. So it was like there's a lot of Cloverfield
yeah.
in this DNA. But no, it was fine. It was just a tense thriller. It was
Right.
very simple. It was just like point A to point B,
Mhm.
monsters, water,
Yeah.
case 2.
All right.
That's it. But no, it was good. It was tense. So we had a
Yeah.
good time though. And it made me so mad. No, just kidding. It didn't.
Anyway, I was reading some people reacting to the big plot twist
Are we
that
back?
happens
Okay.
in Terminator Dark Fate within the first 3 minutes. I won't say what happens because I was surprised because I didn't know it was coming.
Yeah.
And I kept waiting for them to like reverse it in the
Yeah.
movie, and they never did.
Yeah.
And I want to believe in the next 2 movies they would have reversed it,
Yeah.
but I also don't trust them.
Yeah.
But anyways, they were talking about
And
how
there's no way. We're done.
no, I cannot imagine. I mean, they've now made 3 movies that were supposed to be the start of a trilogy each. They've had
Yeah.
3 trilogy starters that have not happened. But what the thing was,
What a messy series.
for a while, you could just ignore the sequels
Yeah.
and whatever. It's like, okay, the sequels are bad. They ignore like the ending concept of like we've stopped it and everything.
Yeah.
But what this thing does, it now also ruins Terminator 2's like main concept by what it does to a certain character, and it's just. I couldn't put in words why it was bothering so much that it did what it did, but it was just kind of like nothing mattered. Everything you like doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We don't want you old dumb Terminator fans that were big into Sarah and John Connor. Screw you.
Have you read any of the books? I've heard good things about the books.
Yeah, I've heard the Terminator 2 novelization is pretty good. Kind of like how why they picked the Arnold Schwarzenegger model to go back in time.
Yeah.
It had like John Connor picked it because he remembered it or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. Yeah, I might read them.
there's a lot of Timothy Zahn did some
That was
of
the
them.
thing. I was going to start reading the Timothy Zahn Terminator Salvation books because they're supposed to be pretty good. Because Salvation had promise too. Thank the Lord for Jurassic World is all I can say because that could have been the same thing. But
I do want to point out that friend of the show, Alan Dean Foster, wrote the novelization for Terminator Salvation.
Uh-huh.
So I suspect
Yeah.
that's probably good because Alan Dean Foster's a novelization king. So
frustrating.
I agree. All right, let's move on.
Yeah,
this is
sorry,
This is
bookmark.
a tense
Right.
segment.
All right, what did I read?
Yeah, boy, I'd love to know.
I read Cable, Volume 3. So I've been
Okay.
reading the new Cable series. It's only 3 volumes.
Okay.
Different creative people working on each volume. Different direction for it. It's all over the place. So I don't know. This is not what I would give to somebody who wants to be a Cable fan.
Are there those people?
There are Cable fans. I like Cable.
But somebody who wants to be a cable fan.
Oh yeah, that might be trickier.
I think that's a niche
I mean,
market.
I would just say start in the 90s
That's a
then,
niche
at that
market.
point. Okay. You know what? Before we get to these two, because you're going to have something to say about one of them, I read Avengers Standoff. We have the hardcover of this in the collection.
Okay.
Because on the Marvel app,
Because it's nonsense.
it's
Yeah.
nonsense in the Marvel app. There's like 5 or 6 different books. And if you want to read Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the comic book series, I was reading. It was so boring.
I
They
bet.
definitely got that Daisy character in there.
Well, it's like when we wanted to read Blackest Night and the collections of the DC
yeah, nonsense.
was totally nonsense. So
Yeah.
we had to like interlibrary loan
Yeah.
6 of them and just round robin those babies.
The idea is that supervillains are being mind wiped or having their minds. They're being meant to believe that there are other people and they're living in a Pleasantville kind of situation,
Right.
and they start waking up from it.
Okay.
Which is like a fun concept, you would think, but it's 16 issues. This thing is longer than Infinite Crisis,
Wow.
than Civil War,
Nothing feels longer than
Infinity
Crisis.
Gauntlet. This thing is 16 issues.
That's a lot.
I mean, so no, I thought this was so boring. All right, which one should I? Okay, I read X-Men Gold Volume 3,
Okay.
Mojo Worldwide.
Oh.
So this is a crossover between X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue. The reason why, because I'm reading through these series, Mojo is he's doing his thing. So Marvel ran like a legacy thing.
I hate Mojo.
Marvel ran like a legacy thing where different characters were relating to something in the past. And so the writers used Mojo to do that. And Mojo was capturing the X-Men and he was making them battle through their greatest hits. So they were having to deal with Days of Future Past, with Executioner's Song, with Extinction Agenda, all that stuff. And it was just kind of funny because he was making fun of everybody. He called X-Men fans, like X-Men fans are those who are feared and hated by the world and all this stuff. Or self-proclaimed feared and hated. Like we X-Men fans are always like, Marvel doesn't appreciate us, which was funny. I know you hate Mojo. I like Mojo. I like when,
I know you do.
I mean, I don't want every issue to be Mojo, but I like when Mojo shows up and has something fun to do. So... This was also too long. It was too long for its concept, and it didn't really do anything with those greatest hits, but whatever. I also read Rogue and Gambit. This is by Kelly Thompson. It's 5 issues. It's basically taking Rogue and Gambit as like a couple. They're on again, off again, will they, won't they stuff. That's been kind of like stalled forever. And are we still talking about kind of thing? And like kind of brings it back into the spotlight and reignites it in a way that I didn't think was possible. It makes them a couple that I want to like see going forward because it has them it has them undercover at a relationship spa
Okay.
to figure out where people have been disappearing to. But it actually kind of helps them because they have to talk about their problems.
Classic.
They have to talk about like why they've never fully formed as a couple, and there's some action in there where they have to fight doppelgangers and deal with their memories and everything. And it was good. It really had a lot of heart in there, and I really appreciate it. And as somebody, it's weird because of when I started reading comics, like in 2000, all that stuff was written. So I've read it at an accelerated speed,
right?
But it's been also going on forever, so it still feels like a long time. So it's just 20 years after I started reading comics, I'm okay with this.
Wow. Okay. It worked for you.
So yeah, I had a good time with this. And the art was pretty good too. Yeah. So anyway, I'm all in for Rogue and Gambit being a couple.
I guess so.
Again.
Good for you.
It finally felt like it's no longer this oh, they're flirting and everything.
Right.
They just had to let's just do this.
Worked it out.
Let's just do this.
Yeah.
Let's say yes to us.
Let's.
So anyway.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't even bored.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't.
I said mojo and your eyes glazed over and you
that was
had to
hard.
put your wallet in your mouth.
I would like to read to you a quote.
Do you not even like the Mojo episode of X-Men?
No.
The one episode?
No.
All right.
I would like to read to you a quote from Linda Hamilton that she gave to People magazine in regards to Terminator Dark Fate.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "I would be quite happy to never return.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not hopeful because I would really love to be done."
Yeah. Yeah. She said that in January or
Yeah.
something. So after the box office numbers and everything.
And Skydance has told the Hollywood Reporter that there are no plans.
Yeah. It
continue.
bombed. They said, according to it made 200 worldwide or something. But the amount of, it had to make 400 million to break even.
Wow.
So it had a loss of 140 million. They just
That's
can't
hard to
make.
come back
How
from.
how does Genesis bomb the way it does, and you still say, you know what? Let's do it again.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's do it again.
I don't know.
Honestly,
This is on me for bringing this back
Yeah.
around, and I recognize that.
I mean, oh wow, Independence Day didn't have a. Remember that had a sequel, and that bombed too. It seems like
I had no interest in seeing that.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
no.
Okay.
I would feel like I'd also be very annoyed because I loved Independence Day as a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Independence Day is as good as Terminator 2.
Yeah.
But I love Terminator 2.
I think Independence Day is a rough watch today,
just
but we don't have to have that
Do
conversation.
you? I feel like I watched it
do.
in the past couple of years. It's fun.
Mm,
You say "Welcome to Earth."
yeah.
I could have been
I
at a
mean,
barbecue.
Yeah.
Everything
Classic.
Will Smith says is funny. Him
Classic
and Jeff
stuff.
Goldblum are so funny.
Yep.
Not helping.
Yep.
He says must go faster
Yeah,
again.
he does. He does.
Shut up.
All right, you want to do some book news?
What about the speech?
Yeah.
Bill
classic
Pullman
speech.
is the only perfect American president we've ever had.
That's fair. I'd like to say no, but
Maybe
what
Lincoln.
What about Michael Douglas in The American President?
Did he give a speech in front of a whole bunch of ragtag soldiers saying, "Today we celebrate our Independence Day"?
He gave a pretty good
We
speech.
will not go quietly into the night.
All right.
Do you want to watch Independence Day?
Are you still showing the Twitch people Woods Runner? Is that true?
I forgot to change.
How long ago was that?
Dark Fate really
Oh
messed
my
with my
gosh.
head. The real Dark Fate. I think really Skynet's plan wasn't to send Terminators
like
back
this.
into the past,
I'm over
but
it.
it was to just constantly create Terminator sequels. That's what destroyed humanity.
That's actually a pretty good point. That's a good plan. All right, let's take a look at some book news.
Yeah.
The Audio Awards have announced
I need some
their-
sugar.
I know you do.
have a
Audio
glucose.
Awards have announced their finalists.
Audio Awards,
for,
okay.
Yeah, for the Audiobook Awards. I'm just gonna give you the nominees for Audiobook of the Year because there are many categories, and we'll take a look at the winners when they come out. But
When does it come out?
well, of course you'd have to ask me. that now.
Sorry.
I don't know. Not till late March, I don't think.
Oh, wow, okay.
Anyway, Audiobook of the Year finalist titles include Angels in America, a gay fantasia on national themes by Tony Kushner, narrated by Andrew Garfield, Nathan Lane, Susan Brown, Denise Gao, and a full cast published by Penguin Random House Audio. Becoming, written and narrated by Michelle Obama, published by Penguin Random House Audio. Charlotte's Web by E.B. White.
What?
Maybe that'll...
Like a new version?
Yeah, I guess so. Narrated by Meryl Streep and a full cast, published by Penguin Random Audio House. Boy, Penguin. The Dutch House by Ann Patchett, narrated by Mr. Tom Hanks.
Really?
Published by Harper Audio, yes.
Wow.
The Only Plane in the Sky, an oral history of 9/11 by Garrett M. Graff, narrated by a full cast with Holzer Graham, published by Simon & Schuster Audio. And finally, The Testaments, the sequel to The Handmaid's Tale, by Margaret Atwood, narrated by Ann Dowd, Bryce Dallas Howard, Mae Whitman, Derek Jacobi, Tantu Cardinal, and Margaret Atwood, published by Penguin Random House Audio. Those are your finalists for the audiobook of the year.
I wonder who else is in there with that Meryl Streep one.
I don't know.
They get like Jeff Goldblum to play Rizzo.
Templeton?
Templeton.
I would love that.
Yeah. You know why I thought that? Jeff Goldblum played the rat villain in Captain Planet.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow. Do
Yeah.
you remember the old Charlotte's Web movie? It was Paul Lind who was
Yeah.
Templeton. He was like, "Oh, Charlotte,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I want to have some cotton candy."
Yeah. Yeah. He has this whole song.
Yeah.
More and more.
A Pharisee. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's Debbie Reynolds. Debbie Reynolds was Charlotte in that. The
Yeah.
late Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah. It's a
All right.
sad movie.
It is.
I don't think it taught
The
me
book
about
is
death.
great.
but-
The book is great. Have you
Yeah.
read this book?
No.
I mean, I know I'm not going to change anybody's mind on Charlotte's Web, but I just read it like last year to my son, and I thought it was a great book. It felt very like fresh and modern, which is not what I expected.
Yeah.
Charlotte's Web, everyone. All right, what do we got
Read
on
it to your kids.
New York Times bestseller list?
All right.
Got anything new and exciting over on that list? Should we do a weird one this week?
A weird one? Now I've got the hardcover fiction.
Let's do it.
Number 10 is new this week. The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abby Dare. A 14-year-old Nigerian girl who is sold as a wife, then as a servant, resolves to speak for herself and others. So what is that number 9? The Dutch House, right? That's the one you just said was Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And Patches. So this is the sibling relationship is impacted when the family goes from poverty to wealth and back again over the course of many decades. Why would Tom Hanks do this? None of this is about historical figures.
I don't
or
know.
recent historical
I don't
figures.
know. You know, he just read his own audiobook, and I wonder if he was just like, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When do you think Tom Hanks is going to play you or I?
Not for a while.
Yeah, we got to get a
We're
little older.
much younger than Tom Hanks.
Well, they'll de-age him.
I don't listen. I don't want Colin Hanks playing me in a movie.
Colin Hanks.
I don't want Colin Hanks playing me in a movie. That's all
I
I'm
think
going
he
to
could
say.
play me.
Do you?
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
No reason.
If I had my choice, I'd pick Topher Grace to play me.
Really?
Yes.
You're not that dry.
What?
You're not as dry as Topher Grace.
Oh, okay.
He's like a saltine cracker.
He can be. He's pretty sarcastic.
You're like a saltine cracker with a nice spread.
Huh. Number 8, Lost by James Patterson and James O'Bourne. The new head of the FBI task force takes on a crime syndicate run by a pair of Russian nationals. And then at number 7, The Silent Patient by Alex McKillides. Theo Faber looks into the mystery of a famous painter who stopped speaking after shooting her husband. Number 6 is Such a Fun Age. You've had no reaction to this book whatsoever every time I've read it. 6 weeks on this list. I say Such a Fun Age, which is a fun title.
Yeah.
Tumult ensues when Alex Chamberlain's babysitter is mistakenly accused of kidnapping her charge. Gives you nothing. This book does not exist in your world.
I guess not.
Did you ever see Adventures in Babysitting?
No.
Me either. Jonathan Kellerman is at number 5 with The Museum of Desire.
Good for him.
35th book in the Alex Delaware series. 4 unrelated victims are found slaughtered in a limousine. Is a limousine referred to as a museum of desire?
I guess it could be.
Yeah. All right. All right. Number 4, Where the Crawdads Sing. Let's see if I can do this from memory. In the 1960s, a North Carolinian marsh woman is accused of murder.
How close?
Let's see. In a quiet town in North Carolina coast in 1969, a young woman who survived alone in the marsh becomes a murder suspect. I got the basic points.
Yeah.
I should be able to do that after 72 weeks.
Yes, you really
75
should.
weeks.
Yes, you really should.
All right. Number 3. Preston and Child are back again. That fun little comedy
There they
duo.
are,
Preston
finally.
doing the dishes. Meanwhile, Lincoln Child is pouring salsa out. It's got it all over the coffee table. He's doing the dishes, Lincoln.
Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da.
The 19th book in the Agent Pendergrass series. Human feet. What?
Human feet?
inside nondescript shoes wash ashore in Florida? Just the feet?
I guess.
Huh.
How are they together?
You think the shoes are tied together?
I don't know. It just seems like, what are the odds? I guess if the current just caught both feet, guess
Yeah.
they wash up together.
Yeah, like maybe on different days, like you're not going to believe it.
Yeah.
We just found the left foot.
Well, yeah.
Number 2, Golden in Death. A lot of returns here. A lot of these, 80th book. Oh my gosh, J.D. Robb, the 50th book
Yeah.
in the Death series.
She can't be stopped.
Eve Dallas seeks the sender of packages that give off toxic airborne fumes.
Ooh,
Their feet.
scary.
All right, do you want to say anything snarky about number 1, American Dirt by Janine Cummings?
Only that it's been met with a controversy and has generated a lot of discussion.
Bookseller flees Mexico for the United States with her son while pursued by the head of a drug cartel.
Yes.
Also with Terminator Dark Fate, like it comments on phones and drones and how we can't be it, but then it doesn't do anything with that. You think in this like post, it mentions you just do something with that, and that would give it a unique experience. It tries to mention.
It doesn't know what it's doing.
It tries to talk about the American-Mexico border and the wall and crossing and like that situation where they're like where the prisoners. Oh, we call them detainees. It's like, but it doesn't do anything with that either.
Guess not. Sorry. There doesn't seem to be a novelization, so sorry.
Yeah.
All right. That was number one?
Just final fight is inside a dam.
I know. I'm sorry.
Also, when they push the one Terminator into the turbine, they
really
did that
giving
before.
this all away.
They've already done the turbine thing.
There's nothing new in that movie. Look, I said this 6 months ago or whenever it came out, so
all right.
You're not convincing me of anything new.
Let's talk about wolf lover, slightly racist, Jack London.
Is that true?
Slightly racist, yeah.
Huh.
You just learned about that.
Interesting.
But it's at the time everybody's racist.
I don't know why you'd want to start a segment like that.
Well, just so that people know, we know.
Okay. All right.
We're not planning to do an H.P. Lovecraft.
It's not a great start to the segment.
Okay.
Let me just say that.
All right.
All the Books presents Author Spotlight.
Today we're talking about Jack London.
Yeah. Specifically, the ones I've read.
Yeah, specifically the ones you read. So let's. I mean, why don't you start it, because you've talked about this book for at least 4 years now, as one that's right up on the top of your list, right? I mean, how would you rank this?
Call of the Wild and the White Fang are up there with my top 5 favorite books, probably.
Wow.
What
are the others?
Maybe my favorite
JP?
books, period.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
What else you got up there?
I don't know.
Okay.
I've never been able to do like a top 5 books because I feel like it changes, and sometimes when I reread it, I'm like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
But I've reread The Call of the Wild and White Fang a couple of times. Always love them. If somebody was like, pick your favorite book right now, I might just say Call of the Wild and White Fang.
Really?
It might be the easiest thing to answer.
Okay.
So,
all right. So when did you first come across?
I first read them as a child in
Really?
the Illustrated Classics editions.
Oh.
Yeah. Read both of them.
I wonder how altered they are, because they're both relatively short.
Yeah, when I reread it as an adult, I was trying to figure it out. I mean, I think it's just the amount of prose in there.
Yeah.
The story is still there.
Right.
So characters are still met with the same fate, death,
Okay.
as they are in the actual
So you
book.
just picked up an Illustrated Classic?
Yeah.
What, were they together? Were they separate?
They were separate. I think
Okay.
I read White Fang first.
Okay.
So, and then I read Call of the Wild.
For me, it was the Disney movie.
The White Fang?
Yeah, this is my first.
I haven't watched it yet. I put it. It's on
Like
Disney
Ethan
Plus.
Hawke, White
yeah,
Fang? Oh,
I've
wow.
added it to watch.
Okay.
So,
All right.
was it good? Did you like it as a kid?
Loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of my favorite movies as
Yeah.
a kid. I was transfixed
Yeah.
by this movie, because there's a part where he like falls into the ice, and
Mhm.
I was like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen
Right.
now? So that freaked me out. I did not know until like doing some research for this podcast that there was a sequel
Called White Fang 2.
2.
The movie?
Yeah.
I've seen that movie.
Oh, really?
My parents rented it for us one time, so I didn't watch it in context. Or
Right.
anything.
Okay.
So
is it good?
I don't remember it being great.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
I was trying to see if any of the cast from the Ethan Hawke White Fang, like if it features any of the same cast, and it looks like Ethan Hawke at least cameo or like does a brief thing, but I don't know. I just didn't know anything about it, and I've seen the other White Fang a million times.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I missed this, and now I'm gonna have
White
to
Fang 2 exists.
yeah, I'm gonna have to make my son watch both of these movies.
Oh, okay.
Do you think they hold up? Because I haven't watched them
The
since
movies?
the 90s.
I'll have to, when I watch the one that's on Disney Plus, I'll be able to tell you.
Okay.
But I was watching it's like White Fang is like growling at a bear.
Yeah. Doesn't happen.
No, I'm just watching. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it takes a lot of liberties.
Okay.
With the story.
So which did you read first? Do you remember?
White Fang.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about White Fang.
White Fang?
Yeah, just go through the plot quickly.
Wolf Pup gets captured and is with his mom and everything, and they're basically just raised as a dog. So he kind of has to learn what it means to survive in man's world.
Mm-hmm.
So the opposite of Mowgli,
Right.
in a way. Unless you're watching Jungle Book 2.
Right. Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Something like that. The one with John Goodman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's basically just the story of this wolf pup that grows up slowly losing its, its connection to the wild and everything.
Okay.
But but White Fang is abused like the entire time. Its original owners are okay. Eventually they become alcoholics and sell him, and he gets put into like a dog fighting ring, which is terrible. And then, the story about White Fang is the wolf becoming domesticated and finding a good home.
Okay.
So, which then is the opposite of Call of the Wild.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I always confuse them. So the wolf pup is which one?
White Fang.
White Fang.
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
And then Call of the Wild is the story of Buck, who is kind of a pampered house dog.
Yeah.
Gets dog napped by a shady figure who sells him as like a up north. I don't know if it's Canada or Alaska, but the point is he has to like start running in a dog sled.
Right.
And now he has to kind of learn what it means to be like not fed
Yeah.
and having to like fight for your food and like deal with the pack and everything. And then eventually he has to choose whether he's going to stay a dog or become a wolf.
Heed the call of the wild.
Heed the call of the
which
wild.
one he's
Yeah.
going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked just seeing I guess I wouldn't really say regression, but seeing those base instincts sort of reassert themselves over the course of like the journey that he's going on. I thought that was a pretty compelling hook for the story. Reading it, I don't understand what this Harrison Ford movie's all about. I don't really know.
I read a
like,
review
how
of it. It sounds like he still meets like the same kind of amount of characters.
Okay,
But I imagine it's quick to get to Harrison Ford.
I see.
I imagine Harrison Ford is playing the last guy.
All right. Well, no spoilers.
I just can't imagine Harrison Ford is the same as the same decisions.
Yeah,
So
he's playing the role of John Thornton.
yeah, who
Okay.
I believe is the guy who
Okay.
eventually ends up with
Any
Buck.
interest in this movie?
No, because of that
Oh.
CGI dog.
I know
It looks so bad.
It's pretty crazy.
I mean, I know like dogs can't act, but we'd rather watch like a good boy do his movie tricks
Yeah.
and know that he got a treat for doing it than watching a CGI dog raise his eyebrows
Yeah.
up going like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a doggy. Yeah.
So
That is a really weird choice.
Yeah.
That's a really, really weird choice to make.
Yeah.
Even if he was going to be a CGI dog sometimes, you know what I mean? It's just
if
weird.
you're making a Harrison Ford and a dog movie,
Yeah.
we want to see Harrison Ford with like the real dog.
Right.
That's the point.
Right.
We want to, because I don't want to see Harrison Ford with a CGI dog.
Right.
You don't CGI a Wookiee.
Right. You don't.
So
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it looks like there's been multiple movies over the years of Call of the Wild, and I've never seen any of these. There's a 1935 version with Clark Gable, a 1972 version with Charlton Heston. Have you seen that? Chuck Heston?
No.
Have you seen the 1978 Snoopy, What a Nightmare, Charlie Brown? Because
That'd be funny.
That is an adaptation of this. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh.
Wait, maybe I might. Which one? Adaptation of
called-
White Fang or Call of the Wild?
Call of the Wild. What a Nightmare, Charlie Brown. it's
Maybe I
called.
have. I watched a lot of Peanuts cartoons as a kid.
All right. There's
lot
an
of the movies.
anime called Call of the Wild Howl Buck
Huh.
with Bryan Cranston
What?
voicing it. I don't
That's
know.
funny.
A 1997 adaptation called Call of the Wild Dog of the Yukon, starring Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
No, none of these.
I mean, they're both both stories are very primed to just be like in a movie.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, they're dog movies. If you're
Right.
you're making those stupid dog purposes and a dog's life and all that stuff,
Take that, Dennis Quaid.
these movies, like, I mean, these stories are kind of fit. Like, we
Yeah.
want to see a dog find a good home, and we want to see a dog go off and be a wolf.
I do feel like that cartoon dog is really gonna.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna take a hit numbers
Yeah.
wise. Don't you
I
think?
can't imagine this movie's going to be a hit. Not
Yeah.
with like Sonic the Hedgehog out. Not.
Right.
I mean, it just doesn't seem like there's a need for it.
No.
So I remember when it was like Harrison Ford's going to be in the Call of the Wild. I'm like, maybe. And then when I saw the trailer, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a children's movie.
Right.
I don't want to see this.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't realize until
Not
just
that,
now
yeah.
that this Call of the Wild is actually a sequel to the Beethoven franchise. I
Yeah.
didn't know
Yeah.
that it was the same.
Yeah.
That's
It's actually kind of a circular loop because Beethoven was a wolf,
okay.
and now
That
he's,
makes
yeah.
a lot of sense.
You
That
just
is-
keep
that's making
watching
a lot
them
of
in
sense.
a cyclical nature.
All right, let's talk White Fang then. That was your
Uh-huh.
next. That was your next.
What? No, that was the first one I read.
Okay.
White Fang.
Okay. I'm with you now.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a preference between the two of them? Because they're really, I mean, it's kind of exploring the same issue just from two different ways. You know,
I don't know if I have. I mean, because I don't know. Call of the Wild's writing in the language of like Buck, like the call of the wild, and like Buck experiencing like being in a pack and a wolf and all that stuff. Like it's very primal. And it's very just like, yes, this is what it's like to just be out there running with the wolves and everything. So I really like that. White Fang, I don't know, it's kind of like the rags from riches story. I guess.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
They're both pretty compelling. I've never read any of his other stuff. I at one point I picked up the Seawolf and then found out that the Seawolf was a ship.
Oh,
and not a.
You wanted a wolf?
Yeah.
Another wolf?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I mean, his output is actually pretty amazing when you look
read
at
his
it.
sci-fi book.
I did, yeah. I mean, he's got short stories, you know, published from 1894 all the way up through even posthumously some here. He's got plays. He's got a lot of poetry, like a lot of poetry. And of course several novels. Yeah, I picked up one of his sci-fi books called The Scarlet Plague. And I was pretty amazed by this because it was actually written in 1910, serialized in a magazine in 1912, and then actually published. Macmillan published it in 1915. So I mean, you're looking at well over 100 years now at this point. And what it is you have it's set in I think 2079.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a jump.
Yes, and you have the lens you have for this is an old man who's actually your age, born the year that you were born.
Oh no!
Yeah, and this it's actually like given what's in the news right now, it's actually kind of a spooky story to read because it's about this plague that comes out of nowhere in 2013 and just keeps going. Like they just cannot stop it. It just keeps spreading and spreading and spreading, and they just can't get a handle on it. And so cut to, 2079, all these years later, and you have an old man who is feeling like he is the only one who has any memories of prior to this plague in 2013.
Wow.
And so he's trying to, like, tell his grandkids and the kids who are around him, he wants them to remember the world. He wants them to know what happened before, like, as he's ending his life, feeling like all the memories of like the world that we know dying with him. He's trying desperately to like tell them like this is what it was like this is what the world was like, and then this plague started, and then as things went downhill. And it's kind of a dark book because of that, because like the world is decimated and it's not going well, and he's not they don't really take him seriously. Throughout the whole book, it's like they're not sitting at his knee like learning about all these things. They're kind of like, I don't even believe you. That's stupid.
So it's like a time machine situation?
No, it's not a time machine situation.
No, but like how? Okay, keep going.
What do you mean?
Well, I meant how like when the future everybody's like regressed. And he's trying to like.
Well, yes and no though. It's more like it's just. Yeah, I guess you could say that.
It's a time Fox situation where he should tell them about something that would happen and they just believe him.
President Millard Fillmore, and then yes, he tells them. No, but it is. I mean, it is kind of dark in that way because I think normally in a situation like this, especially for the time, especially if you look at like contemporary fiction at the time, I think it would be much more common for the listeners of this story to be like, oh wow, we must take these truths and we must influence the future, but no, they're just kind of like, yeah, whatever, old man, like we don't care, and that's just kind of the way it goes. And so it's pretty shocking when you read it to see that it was written in 1910, because it feels very much like, I mean, if you told me it was written in like 1970, or if it was like, 50s, 60s sort of pulpy sci-fi, I would absolutely believe you. Because even just the way they're talking about the viruses, like, even the science of it feels like you'd have to have a little bit more understanding of how germs work than you might have in 1910. So it's pretty it's a quick book, but I thought it was pretty impressive, and it made me want to read more, really.
Right.
But yeah, I've just read Call of the Wild and Scarlet Plague, but are there any others in his vast array here that
not unless there's like another dog book. I mean, I would definitely say I'm a Call of the Wild White Fang fan, not necessarily a Jack London fan. So yeah. So no, I haven't read any of his other stuff.
What about The Abysmal Brute? It's
No.
about a successful boxer who's brought up in a log cabin,
No.
but he starts to realize that boxing is corrupt.
Oh, snap.
Do you like that?
I like the movie Real Steel.
Yeah, that's kind of similar. Let me see if I can find you. Let me see if I
Uh-huh.
can find you another one that's yeah, these all seem pretty. I don't see any other dog books in here.
Mm-hmm.
What about The Valley of the Moon?
No, haven't read any of this.
No. No, this is about a working class couple, Billy and Saxon Roberts. They're struggling laborers in Oakland at the turn of the century.
Mm-hmm.
No?
No.
Not appealing to you? Okay. All right.
All right.
I mean, I think you kind of covered it, but
Yeah.
just a little bit more. Tell me about like what draws you to these books. Like why is this a book that you want to keep reading? Like knowing the story, and it's a very simple story. It's a pretty straightforward story, but what is it that keeps like calling you back to it?
I mean, calling me that.
I did do it on purpose.
I mean, I'm a dog person.
Yeah.
I have 3
Yeah.
dogs in my house right now. I'd have more if I could.
Yeah.
But I don't have a big enough
You can't.
backyard.
You don't.
And I'd have to have like a dog nanny.
Yeah.
What if I trained one of the dogs to nanny the other dogs?
What if you just became a dog nanny?
Oh my gosh. And yeah, I think just as a kid, my idea of like heaven is just running with wolves.
Really?
Just running with wolves to the woods forever.
Huh.
Just be amazing.
That's a new fact I'm learning today.
I've just always really liked dog, and like wolves are just so like fascinating because they just do not give a like. We look at dogs like, oh, they're domesticated and stuff, but like the best you can get with a wolf is like tame, and even that, they just like dogs will look at you in the eyes when they're like trying to figure something else. They'll like look up at their master.
Yeah.
When they're like trying to problem solve. Wolves won't even like, this guy can't help me. But so like, yes, just how much I like wolves and everything. So I don't know. I think just the writing. It doesn't like I read them as illustrated classics, but they didn't feel like children's books.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't feel like it's been brought down.
Yeah.
Like, and the puppy had a problem at that time. It was just very like straightforward books about wolves.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would agree. That's what appealed to me so much about A Call of the Wild. It was just, it is a very simple story, but it's not. That doesn't mean it's like, like lazy or something. I mean, it's like elemental. Like what he's talking about is just like sort of to the core of.
Yeah.
It's applicable to like humans as well. Just
Yeah,
like what
and it
you're
kind
giving
of-
into what you're
Kind of
choosing for
balances the
yourself.
whole like loyalty of both dogs, both White Fang and Buck, versus or balances them against like just the greed and selfishness of the humans around them, and how like even the best of humans in like Call of the Wild still they suffer their own fate because they're greedy. They're searching for gold, even though they're good to Buck. In the end, their greed gets the best of them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Are you going to see the Harrison Ford movie?
I don't want to. Maybe I will.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm
who's
probably
even making it.
I'm probably going to take my son to it. So
Really?
I'll tell you.
All right.
I'll tell you how it
Really?
goes. I think so.
All right.
I think he'd like it.
But we're not taking him to Sonic.
That's true. Yeah, that's
You've got a
true.
line. But
You're
you know
right,
what?
yeah.
Real quick, in case you're wondering, Jack London was an animal activist, mainly against the circus, which were terrible, and I have no defense for them
Which
whatsoever.
Is, another topic from the one and only Ivan, which I just read this last
oh
week.
my gosh. Anyway, but he was a little racist.
Okay.
Little. He believed in eugenics.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, he's one of those authors that you have to decide how far you're willing to go with his readings and stuff, I guess. Like H.P. Lovecraft and the Conan the Barbarian author. Basically, every author of the early 1900s, you always have to be like, is it okay if I want to read this?
Yeah, I mean that's always a challenge
Yeah.
because especially when you consider the time in which they're writing and how much our understanding has changed. It's it's a decision I think you have to make with every time you start to sort of look behind the curtain of those who do
This
that.
copy of the book I got,
Yes.
it's just the two stories.
Yeah.
A lot of them are usually like Call the Wild and other stories,
Yeah.
and then White Fang and other stories.
Yeah.
This is all I need.
Yeah,
I
your
just
Barnes
got
and
the two of
Noble
them.
edition there.
Yeah,
It's got
I don't know
everything
when
together.
I bought this. I probably bought this like in between college or something because I read it reread it in like 2009.
Yeah.
2008, 2009 was when I reread them.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I love these books.
Well, maybe now in another 4 years we could talk about domestic
Adventurer,
violence
an
and
activist,
Matthew
philosopher, and alcoholic. Jack
Really?
London was a man of great contradictions and greater talent.
Interesting.
According to the book on the back.
Put it right on the blurb.
Admired by other writers, including Ernest Hemingway. I could see that. Hemingway's got like a sparse writing.
Yeah,
right?
he does. Yeah.
I got to read some Hemingway. Oh, I have. The Old Man in the Sea.
Yeah.
That didn't have anything to do with that Chili Pepper song.
I know it didn't. All right. Well, we have, of course, many, many works by Jack London here at the David A. Howe Public Library. You can stop in and check
It's
those out.
not a book that's
anytime.
on like a reading list. Like I never hear of teens like coming in like I got to read Call of the Wild for school or something.
that's true.
But
Yeah, that's true.
it's got a lot more modern now. I was asking our teen worker
Yeah.
what they have to read for school, and The Martian is on their
Really?
list. Yeah.
Really? Interesting.
I must be because of all the science.
I hope they don't put Artemis on there.
No, I don't think they do.
Terrible book.
But like they don't. Like man, none of that.
Interesting.
I mean, I guess I read The Pearl and really liked it as
Uh-huh.
a kid, but still,
Steinbeck's The Pearl.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else you want to add on Call of the Wild or White Fang?
I will watch White Fang with Ethan Hawke.
Okay.
So we
Will you watch that Snoopy?
I must have.
Okay.
I mean, if
Well-
I watched the summer camp one.
I mean, I got to rewatch White Fang, and I got to watch White Fang 2. I mean, all this time there was a sequel
I really
out there
don't know.
that
I
didn't,
remember the end involving like a river, like a dam. Like maybe the dam was going to break.
Were there Terminators there, or was it different dam?
Yeah,
Okay,
different dam.
cool. All right.
I
Well,
like the word dam because it describes what the Terminator fought in
yes.
at the end of that movie,
Uh-huh.
but also the word I just kept saying in
both versions there.
Yeah,
That's
I was
great.
like Doc Brown waiting for Marty in the first Back
yes,
to the Future.
I remember that. Classic scene.
Just
Classic scene.
looking at the movie like, ah.
Yep. All right. Well, we got a lot of things coming up here at the library.
Our Sonic the Hedgehog spotlight coming up.
Yeah, I wish. Also, I want to remind everybody, take the census. When the time comes, take the census. We just did a training about this here at the library this morning, and it is very important, though, that our area is counted for the people who actually live here and need services here. So it is important. So please do that. Check
What if
that
you're
out.
moving during the census?
Yeah, good question. That's hard. I think it's where you are on April 1st is where you register. Yep. So
Okay.
April 1st decides that. Also, we have Dr. Phil Richards coming in here on the 27th of February.
Finally.
Doing a talk as part of our Revisiting the Founding Era grant.
Yeah.
He'll be talking about Phyllis Wheatley, one of the first African-American women to have a published work. Specifically, she wrote poetry. So Phil Richards is going to be here on the 27th, so I hope you can join us for that. Book clubs
February
are going.
27th?
February 27th. Yep. Got a lot of things going on, so I hope you can stop into the library and see us. I think it's going to do it for this week. We will see you next time.